Have you ever pondered on the skin color of the first humans? Let's embark on a journey back in time to when the world was young and humanity was just beginning. We find ourselves at the dawn of humankind with Adam and Eve, as told in the book of Genesis. The Bible doesn't specify their skin color, but let's consider the environment they might have lived in. Many believe this was somewhere in Africa, the cradle of humanity. Now imagine the intense sunlight of Africa, a relentless energy source that can be harmful as well as life-giving. To protect against this, it's plausible that Adam and Eve had dark skin, rich in the pigment melanin that provides a natural sunscreen. Yes, they could very well have been black. So, if Adam and Eve were black, how did we end up with such a diverse range of skin colors? Stay tuned as we delve into this intriguing question. Let's dive into the biblical story of Adam and Eve. As the tale goes, these two figures stand as the progenitors of the entire human race, the first man and woman ever to exist. According to the book of Genesis, they came into being not through birth, but rather, they were created by God himself. Adam, formed from the dust of the earth, and Eve, sculpted from one of Adam's ribs. Their home was a paradise known as the Garden of Eden, a place of stunning beauty and abundance. Here they lived a serene life, nourished by the fruits of the garden, the only stipulation being that they must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. However, enticed by the serpent, Eve tasted the forbidden fruit and shared it with Adam. This act of disobedience marked a turning point in their lives. Once God discovered their transgression, they were banished from the Garden of Eden, forced to endure a harsher existence outside of paradise. As they ventured forth into the world, they had to adapt to their new environment, enduring the elements and learning to cultivate the land for their sustenance. They began to produce offspring, and with each passing generation, their descendants spread further across the globe. Now consider this. As these descendants moved into different climates and environments, could they have adapted to their surroundings in such a way that it influenced their physical attributes? Could the varying levels of sunlight, for example, have affected the amount of melanin in their skin, leading to a spectrum of skin tones over time? It's a fascinating theory, albeit one that has sparked much debate. After all, at its core, it's a story about adaptation and survival, about the remarkable ability of the human species to adjust and thrive in a myriad of environments. As Adam and Eve's descendants spread across the globe, they found themselves in different climates and environments which could have led to changes in their skin color. Abraham's journey provides another clue to this puzzle. Abraham, revered by many as the patriarch of monotheism, lived around 4,000 years ago. His story begins in the city of Ur, in present-day Iraq, where he was known as Abram. He was a man of faith, and it was this faith that led him to form a covenant with God. God promised Abraham that he would be the father of many nations, and to fulfill this promise, he was instructed to leave his home. With his wife Sarah and nephew Lot, Abraham embarked on a journey that would have them traverse through different terrains, climates, and cultures. Their odyssey took them from the fertile lands of Mesopotamia, across the harsh deserts of Arabia, and finally to Canaan, a region in modern-day Israel and Lebanon. Each of these regions had a distinct climate and environment, which could have influenced the skin color of Abraham's descendants. Let's consider the possible effects. In Mesopotamia, the climate was warm and humid, which would favor darker skin to protect against the sun's harmful UV rays. The Arabian desert, on the other hand, was harsh and hot, which could have led to a lighter skin tone to better reflect the sun's heat. Finally, in Canaan, the climate was Mediterranean with mild, wet winters and hot, dry summers, which could have resulted in a skin tone somewhere in between. Over generations, these environmental adaptations could manifest as changes in skin color. Genetic mutations that favored survival in each new environment would be passed down, gradually influencing the physical appearance of Abraham's descendants. But remember, these are just possible scenarios based on environmental factors. Other factors, such as diet, disease, and intermarriage, also play a significant role in the evolution of skin color. Abraham's journey shows us how migration and adaptation to new environments could have influenced the skin color of his descendants. The story of Moses presents another interesting perspective. Born into slavery in Egypt, Moses was found in a basket on the Nile River by the Pharaoh's daughter, who raised him as her own. This was a time when the Israelites, his people, were enslaved by the Egyptians, but Moses was destined for a greater mission. As an adult, he was chosen by God to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, in what is known as the Exodus. This journey wasn't simply a geographic shift. It was a transformational journey through different climates and environments, each presenting its own set of challenges and opportunities. Imagine leaving the fertile Nile Valley, with its arid but predictable climate, and heading into the harsh, unpredictable environment of the Sinai Desert. The desert, with its scorching sun and freezing nights, would have been a stark contrast to the life they had known in Egypt. And this is where the idea of skin color adaptation becomes particularly fascinating. The human body is a wonder of adaptation. In response to the intense desert sun, it's plausible that the skin of the Israelites would have produced more melanin, the pigment that gives skin, hair, and eyes their color. More melanin means darker skin, a natural sunscreen of sorts that could have protected them from harmful UV radiation. Then consider the Israelites' 40 years of wandering in the desert before reaching the Promised Land. 4 decades is more than enough time for noticeable changes to occur in skin color due to environmental adaptation. But the story doesn't end there. Upon reaching Canaan, the Israelites encountered a different climate again, one more akin to their original home in Egypt. This cycle of movement and adaptation continued, each time potentially influencing the skin color of the population. The Exodus led by Moses further illustrates how migration and adaptation to different environments could have contributed to variations in skin color. So, what have we learned from these stories? To begin, we've delved into the narrative of Adam and Eve, the first humans according to the book of Genesis. We've explored the possibility that our earliest ancestors may have been black, based on the geographical location of Eden, which is suggested to be in Africa, a region predominantly inhabited by individuals with darker skin tones. We've also explored the journey of Abraham, a figure of monumental significance in many of the world's religions. His travels took him across diverse climates and environments, from the warm deserts of the Middle East to the cooler regions of Canaan. This journey mirrors the migrations of early humans, who ventured out of Africa to populate the rest of the world, encountering different climates along the way. Next, we investigated the story of Moses, a figure whose life was filled with trials and tribulations. The Exodus, the mass migration of the Israelites from Egypt, could be seen as a metaphor for the migrations of our ancient ancestors. These migrations, coupled with the varying climates and environments they encountered, played a significant role in the evolution of different skin colors. Now let's dive a bit deeper into the science behind all this. The color of our skin is determined by a pigment called melanin, produced by cells in our skin called melanocytes. Darker-skinned individuals have more melanin, which provides a natural protection against the harmful effects of the sun's ultraviolet rays. This would have been advantageous for our early ancestors living near the equator, where the sun's rays are most intense. As humans migrated to areas with less sunlight, less melanin was needed. Over time, through the process of natural selection, lighter skin evolved to allow more sunlight to penetrate the skin and produce vitamin D, crucial for bone health. This evolutionary change, driven by the need to adapt to different climates and environments, resulted in the diverse range of skin colors we see among humans today. It's fascinating to see how the stories of Adam and Eve, Abraham and Moses can be interpreted in a way that aligns with our scientific understanding of human evolution and the development of skin color. In conclusion, while these biblical narratives provide a rich tapestry of human history and culture, it is the science of evolution that offers us the most comprehensive explanation for the diversity of skin colors among humans. The stories of Adam and Eve, Abraham and Moses, as well as the scientific principles of evolution and natural selection, remind us of our shared ancestry and the incredible journey of humanity. While the stories of Adam and Eve, Abraham and Moses provide interesting insights, it's the science of evolution that ultimately explains the diverse range of skin colors we see today.